Look around you. Have you ever noticed how the vast majority of people, 99% to be exact, are constantly exhausted? They are running on a massive, endless financial treadmill that just keeps spinning faster and faster every single year. They sprint with all their might, burning energy, but never actually move a single inch forward financially. And yet, right across the street, there is this tiny fraction of society, the top 1%. These people seem to have discovered a magical remote control for life. They aren't running, they are calmly walking. So, what is their secret? Is it blind luck, generational wealth, trust funds, or maybe some secret society? The reality is far less theatrical, but infinitely more powerful. The real difference isn't the amount of money they start with. It all comes down to their operating system. Their minds simply process information, time, and money completely differently. According to wealth expert Natalie Dawson, the gap isn't created by working harder, but by thinking differently. She identified 6 distinct psychological principles that separate the ultra-wealthy from the rest of the struggling population. Today, we are going to crack open these 6 principles, step by step, and see exactly how they work. We will watch how Mr. Average and Mr. 1% face the exact same life situations. Because if you want to escape the rat race, you first need to understand the invisible rules of the game. Think of society as a giant chessboard. The 99% are playing checkers while the 1% plays chess. Are you ready to unplug from the matrix and learn the real rules of wealth? Let us dive into principle number 1. Principle number 1 is the time horizon. This is the fundamental difference in how they view the future. Let us look at Mr. Average. His time horizon is incredibly short. He thinks in terms of days and weeks. His primary questions are always, when is payday? Or, how do I survive until the weekend? Because his timeline is so short, he prioritizes instant gratification and immediate survival over long-term growth. Look at Mr. 1%. His time horizon is vastly different. He thinks in terms of decades and generations. He understands the concept of planting seeds today for trees he might never actually sit under. While the 99% consumes their seeds because they are hungry right now, the 1% plants them. This brings us to the most powerful force in the universe, according to Albert Einstein: compound interest. Compound interest does not just apply to money, it applies to knowledge, habits, and relationships over time. Mr. Average cannot see the compound effect because he never stays consistent long enough for the curve to spike. But Mr. 1% is perfectly fine with seeing 0 results in the first few years. He trusts the math. If you want to build real wealth, you must force your brain to extend its time horizon. Stop asking what will make you happy today. Start asking what will make you wealthy 10 years from now. The shorter your time horizon, the poorer you will remain. You are trapping yourself in the present, which perfectly leads us to the second principle. How do they react when things go completely wrong? Principle number 2 is how they handle chaos. The 99% react to the noise, while the 1% spot the pattern. Imagine a sudden economic downturn. The stock market crashes and the news is screaming that the world is ending. Mr. Average immediately panics. His brain's fight-or-flight response is triggered by the constant barrage of negative headlines. Fear takes over his operating system. He logs into his investment account and hits the giant red sell button. He locks in his losses, believing he is protecting what little he has left from total destruction. Now look at Mr. 1%. The exact same storm is raging outside, but he is completely calm. Why? Because he zooms out. Instead of reacting to the current dip, he looks at the historical pattern. He knows that economies operate in cycles just like the seasons of the year. A market crash is not the end of the world. It is simply financial winter, and winter always comes. You don't burn your house down because it gets cold outside. You put on a coat and wait for spring. In fact, Mr. 1% loves financial winter because winter is when everything goes on sale. While the 99% are running away in fear, the 1% are aggressively buying up assets at a massive discount. This requires emotional control. You have to train your mind to act exactly opposite to the herd. If you react to the noise, you will always be a victim of circumstance. If you study the patterns, you become the master of it. And this level of emotional control requires a specific tool, which brings us to principle number 3. Principle number 3 is data over emotion. Emotions are incredibly expensive, especially when it comes to money. Mr. Average makes financial decisions based on how things make him feel. Mr. 1% makes decisions based on math. Let us look at a common scenario: buying a car. Mr. Average walks into a dealership and falls in love with a shiny new sports car. He imagines how cool he will look driving it. He imagines the respect he will get from his neighbors. Driven entirely by ego and emotion, he signs a high-interest loan, instantly chaining himself to years of debt. Now, Mr. 1% looks at the exact same car, but instead of listening to his ego, he pulls out a calculator. He calculates the depreciation. He sees that the car will lose 20% of its value the second he drives it off the lot. The math does not make sense. So he easily walks away and buys a reliable used vehicle instead. The wealthy treat their finances like a robot running a spreadsheet. They remove the human element of desire. When they buy an asset, they don't care if it looks boring. They only care about the return on investment. Meanwhile, the middle class buys liabilities that look like assets purely for the temporary emotional high of looking rich. If you want to keep your money, you must divorce your ego from your wallet. Every time you're about to make a major purchase, force yourself to wait 24 hours and run the actual numbers. Data is your shield against the marketing machines designed to drain your bank account. And speaking of things that drain your resources, let us move to principle number 4. Principle number 4 is building the fortress of time. Time is the only currency in the universe that you cannot print more of. You can always make another dollar, but you can never make another minute. The wealthy understand this math perfectly. Mr. Average gives his time away to anyone who asks for it. He says yes to every distraction, every pointless meeting, and every favor because he wants to be liked. As a result, his most valuable asset is completely drained by others. At the end of the day, he has no time left to build his own wealth or work on his own dreams. Mr. 1%, on the other hand, treats his time like a dragon guarding a mountain of gold. He builds a fortress around his schedule. His default answer to almost every single request is a polite but firm no. He understands that every time you say yes to something unimportant, you are automatically saying no to your own future. By fiercely protecting his hours, he has the uninterrupted focus required to learn high-income skills and build scalable systems. This is the ultimate secret of productivity. It is not about doing more things faster, it is about doing fewer things better. You have to become comfortable with disappointing people in the short term to achieve freedom in the long term. The 99% try to juggle 100 cheap glass balls. The 1% only holds one solid gold ball. They protect their deep work, their health, and their family. Everything else is either delegated, automated, or eliminated. Audit your calendar. If someone else is controlling your schedule, they are controlling your financial destiny. But protecting your time is only half the battle. Who you spend that remaining time with is principle number 5. Principle number 5 is the echo chamber of wealth. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Your environment acts like an invisible gravitational pull. It either drags you down to mediocrity or pulls you up to success. Mr. Average hangs out with people who complain about the economy, blame the government, and gossip about others. When he tries to improve his life or start a business, his friends pull him back down, telling him it is too risky. He is trapped in an echo chamber of limitation. Their negative beliefs automatically become his negative beliefs. 1%, however, actively curates his environment. He treats his social circle like an exclusive VIP club. He surrounds himself with people who talk about ideas and the future, people who are playing the game at a much higher level. In fact, his primary goal is to be the least successful person in the room. He wants to be pulled upward. By absorbing their knowledge and their ambitious mindset, he accelerates his own growth exponentially. Look at your own circle. If your friends are not discussing wealth, health, or growth, you're in the wrong room. You have to ruthlessly audit your environment. Cut out the energy vampires who drain your ambition. Sometimes building wealth requires a season of isolation. It is better to walk alone than to walk with the wrong crowd. Because eventually, when you upgrade your mindset, you will attract a completely new tribe of high performers. Your network truly is your net worth. It is the ultimate leverage. But even with the right mindset, time, and network, nothing happens without the final ingredient. Let us move to principle number 6. Finally, principle number 6 is imperfect action. This is where the 99% freeze and the 1% take off. The biggest killer of wealth is analysis paralysis. Mr. Average waits for the perfect moment. He overanalyzes every single detail. He wants the perfect business plan, the perfect market conditions, and zero risk before he takes a single step. He spends years researching, planning, and waiting, and as a result, he never actually starts. His dreams die on the drawing board. Mr. 1% knows that the perfect moment is a myth. He understands that done is better than perfect. Building wealth is often like jumping off a cliff and assembling an airplane on the way down. It is scary, messy, and highly imperfect. You will make mistakes and you will lose money initially, but action produces data. While Mr. Average guesses, Mr. 1% gets real feedback from the market. By the time the 99% are finally ready, the 1% have already won the race. Your brain is designed to keep you safe and comfortable, but wealth is built in the zone of discomfort. You have to train yourself to take action even when you feel completely unready and terrified. Because the market rewards execution, not just having a good idea inside your head. Millions of people have million-dollar ideas, but an idea without execution is completely worthless. Start before you are ready. Fail fast, learn quickly, and adjust your course along the way. So you now know the 6 principles. But how do you actually cross the bridge to the 1%? The pivot from the 99% to the 1% does not require $1 million in your bank account. It does not require luck or winning the lottery. It simply requires a fundamental shift in personal accountability. Mr. Average blames his boss, the economy, and his parents for his financial situation. He points fingers at everyone but himself. Mr. 1% looks in the mirror. He takes 100% responsibility for everything in his life, good and bad, because the very moment you blame someone else, you instantly give up your power to change the situation. To make the pivot, you must audit your daily inputs. The 99% consume mindless entertainment like junk food for the brain. Start consuming educational content instead. Feed your operating system with high-quality data from books, mentors, and podcasts. You must shift your identity. The 99% operate purely as consumers. They buy what others build. The 1% operate as creators and investors. Stop asking how to buy more things and start asking how to create more value. Because at the end of the day, money is simply a receipt for the value you provide to the world. The path is not easy. It requires you to embrace the discomfort that the 99% run away from. You must be willing to live like no one else today so that you can live like no one else tomorrow. There are no shortcuts to wealth, no get-rich-quick schemes, and certainly no magic pills. There is only the consistent, disciplined execution of these 6 principles over a very long period of time. And the best part? You can start right now, today. Let us look at the ultimate game plan. To reprogram your operating system, you need a daily game plan. Step 1. Face the brutal facts of your current reality. Mr. Average is terrified to look at his bank account. He avoids his credit card statements, hoping the debt will magically disappear. Living in denial only allows the compound interest of debt to quietly destroy his future behind his back. Mr. 1% knows his exact net worth down to the dollar. You cannot improve what you do not accurately measure. Step 2 of the game plan, win the morning. The first hour of your day dictates the direction of your entire life. Mr. Average wakes up and immediately checks social media. He lets the world program his brain with stress and comparison before he even gets out of bed. He starts his day in a reactive state, giving his focus away to algorithms designed to steal his time. Mr. 1% protects his mornings. He uses the first hour to read, plan his priorities, and create a proactive mindset. Step 3, shift your ratio. You must spend more time producing value than consuming it. On a Friday night, the 99% are binge-watching shows or playing video games. They are consuming. Mr. 1% is using that same Friday night to build his side hustle, learn a new skill, or refine his investments. He is producing. And the final step, embrace failure as data. You will fail, and that is exactly the point. When the 99% fail, their ego is crushed and they quit forever. They view failure as an identity. When the 1% fail, they view it simply as paying for market data. They adjust their spreadsheet and try again smarter. This is the true operating system of wealth. It is entirely in your head, and it is time to make a choice. Ultimately, you have to realize that the wealth gap in society is not primarily a financial gap. It is a mental gap. It is a difference in daily habits, emotional control, and how you value your own time. You can choose to stay on the treadmill with the 99%, running faster and faster just to survive. Or you can choose to step off. You can completely upgrade your operating system, stop running blindly, look at the game board, learn the patterns, and start playing this game by the rules of the 1%. If this breakdown changed the way you view wealth, hit that like button to feed the algorithm. And make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the minds of the successful. Share this video with someone who needs to step off the treadmill. Your circle matters, remember? If you want to keep upgrading your mental operating system right now, click on one of the videos on the screen. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, keep building.